This past Thursday, the Supreme Court ruled to uphold a 1978 law aimed at keeping Native American adoptees' children with their tribes and traditions.
Okay.
So, this comes after a couple, okay? They tried to, I think they actually succeeded. They did adopt a Native American child, but they realized that because of that law, the goal was to keep those Native American children within their tribe, and only if there was not a healthy home for them to go to within a Native American home, like,
sure,
then they could be adopted out to a white family or a family of another ethnicity.
Yeah.
And they felt like this was discriminatory, racially discriminatory. So they filed a federal lawsuit.
Okay.
And I heard a woman talking about this law, and apparently they had already found out that they were going to be able to adopt that child that they wanted and decided to do it anyway, to file this federal lawsuit.
What? That feels very shady.
Mm-hmm.
What ethnicity?
What do you mean? It's a Native American child.
Okay, what?
I don't know which tribe. They're white.
Okay, are they conservative? Because I'll be
think
so pissed if they're like, he has to be Christian. We're saving him from the savages. Dude,
well, that's where this law comes from, was to get rid of that, because that's what was happening. That is what happened to the Native American population for like a really, really long time.
Why are we going backwards?
I don't know. So in June 2016, the Brackens family, the couple, they welcomed a 9-month-old baby boy in as a foster child. They said he was scared and confused, and their name is Jennifer and Chad Bracken.
Is he a Chad?
What is happening?
Is he a Chad?
No, he's not.
Oh.
That is him.
Oh.
This is the couple.
Oh, no. He's like, what's Chad backwards? Like,
I don't know. He's honestly kind of creepy looking.
Datch. He's a Datch.
Dak.
Yeah. The opposite of a Chad.
Okay, so the baby had a Navajo mother and a Cherokee father.
Okay.
They said because of that, the officials said he would only be there for like a few months, probably. This is the little boy. Oh, that's such a cute picture of him. So cute. So they tried to formally adopt him and said that, he was scared and confused. Now he was doing well and thriving in their home, and they wanted to adopt him. And both of his...
9-month-old scared and confused?
That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So both of his biological parents' rights were terminated, too. So they were like, we want to adopt him. They said that, they're the only parents he knows, that he's doing really well in their home, and they're learning to embrace his heritage and encourage it and foster him in his heritage.
Okay. Good.
So,
because, dude, we white demons wasted tons of Native American culture and history, and to think that we could be able to adopt Native American people and not show them what their heritage and culture is, that sounds very scary to me.
I agree with you.
At least let them pick. Let them be a human being and pick their own. Show them both unbiased. And, maybe Christianity is more his thing. You know what I mean? But let him pick.
Yeah, he's too little to pick, though.
I get that, but that's why you show both. And you be honest about both. You know, if the parents are Christian, there's nothing wrong being like, yeah, you know, you guys worshipped this and this is from whatever. Like, you can show and be like, and this is Christianity too, and here's the history of that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I understand what you're saying, but as a white family who has nothing to do with that, has no idea what the traditions are, because they have no experience in it. They have zero experience. They just can't provide the same environment and experience and connection to tradition that actual Native American family could. So I don't know what that woman was talking about, that they said he would be able to stay, but so it says they later learned that some Navajo Nation social workers found an unrelated tribal couple that he could stay with.
Okay.
Why does it keep doing this?
Okay, so, but that is...
And they favored that family over the white family because that's the law. Like, that's what these advocates and organizations and the law all try to do because of the situation that happened from the time we colonized America until the 1970s, where so we had the reservations, right?
Yep.
Well, there was an effort, a systematic, intentional effort to remove Native American children from their families' homes and convert them to Christianity, convert them to a more civilized life by taking them out. And so they weren't allowed, apparently, to go to regular school. They had to go to boarding schools. And I've heard about this in Canada and the United States. It happened in both countries, and they were put in these boarding schools. A lot of them were horrific. There was a lot of abuse. Mm-hmm. And then also you had the situation where reservations a lot of times were behind in infrastructure. And the statistics show, which I only have reference to them, I don't have the exact ones, but most of the time, like, there's a percentage that's super high. I'm trying to remember where it is. I think it's actually right here in this, where they would find that there was abuse. It's like a crazy number in Native American homes as opposed to, like, white homes.
What?
Yeah, it was racist. It was just racist. It was bigotry, where they would find...
Trying to pad the statistics to better their argument. Well,
basically what it's saying, which I'll link this because I think you should do your own research. I just wanted to... Because this just happened. I wanted to kind of talk about the history of it a little bit. But, like, they didn't have... 90% of farms had electricity by 1950, it says. And reservations... okay. So, in addition, material comforts linked to infrastructure were simply not available on reservations as early as in other rural areas. So, rural electrification programs had ensured that 90% of farms had electricity by 1950, a tremendous rise, with the 10% that had electricity in 1935. So, electricity did not approach 90% on reservations until the year 2000, 50 years later. Not till the year 2000 did 90% of reservations have electricity.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So, it says these kind of cultural and material divergencies from Euro-American expectations instantly made Native families appear backward and neglectful of their children.
Gosh. That's a literal concerted effort to keep resources from them. Yeah, that's scary. I think that's really messed up, but, like,
Well, here,
Okay.
look at these numbers. So the IAP eventually moved between 25 and 35% of Native children in the United States into adoption and foster care placements, and all with Euro Americans, none with their tribal families.
Oh my god.
Which is why
yeah,
that law was passed, because entire generations were being erased.
Well,
There
okay.
would be no more Native American families.
Okay, do you
anymore.
remember the CIA Chaos, whatever, Operation Chaos?
Yeah.
That is around that same time, right? And their attack was on anything that wasn't the American image of what they wanted it to be. They were attacking hippies, they were attacking black people, they were attacking, I guarantee you Indians are included in that, but they were attacking what they called communists, they were attacking socialists, they were attacking everybody that wasn't a hardcore diecore capitalist, right?
Yep.
And that would totally fit the bill. That would totally fit the bill.
Yeah, it would.
And could be included in that also. But like, I think we're realizing now that our power-hungry drive for money is nothing good. And now we have all these people, displaced people, that are effectively losing their culture. It's not being passed on, when like Native American culture is such a rich culture, so similar to like how rich African culture is, and the way that they lived and appreciated the land and took every opportunity from every piece of animal and plants and things like that. Like, it's such an amazing culture, you know what I mean?
Rich with tradition and stories and folklore, and it's just,
it sucks to see
amazing.
that go away, because like you had people in White House that were
they saw them as savages, uncivilized,
right.
as, oh, you're not Christians, we need to save you.
Right.
It's,
we're saving your soul.
yeah, it's,
did I forget to tell you that while I'm bashing your face?
It's just ridiculous. And stealing your children, literally stealing them, because you're not raising them the way we think they should be raised.
So have they advocated for, have they advocated for any other opportunities? Let's say a white couple wanted to adopt a Native American child, okay? Which is, I think, a mixing of cultures is great too, but a white or other race couple should never have priority over the tribe ever. I think that if there is the mom or dad, they should get total priority, or if there's someone close to them in the tribe, they should get secondary. But let's just say that it ends up going to a white couple, okay, in this situation. Are there any programs out there where that white couple could raise that kid, but that kid be given a guide from their tribe to learn the cultures and traditions?
It doesn't, I mean, I think that would be up to the parents. So they only...
No, parents aren't in the equation, okay? Because like they have like shaman, like witch doctor type people that guide the culture and experience things like
it'd be up to the foster or adopted parents to do that.
That sucks.
So I don't
stupid.
I don't think there is anything like that. It's just,
I don't think they should rule out like other races of people, but I also think there should be a system where you also don't lose that.
They're not ruling them out. They're saying if there's a foster family, adoptive family that is that nationality, is that race, that they go to them. And the reason that they're allowed to govern it like this, and it's not considered discrimination, is tribes have their own laws. They are independent little or dependent nations. They have their own laws. They're allowed to operate how they want. And so this is what they get to do. And I agree with it. I think it's fine. I don't know why you're going out of your way to try to adopt a Native American kid. Just be a foster parent, and if one comes into your house and that's what's best for them, then you take care of them. Why does it matter what race they are?
I don't think there's
That's
anything
just
wrong
weird.
with them going out of their way to adopt a Native American kid. Mixing of cultures is really good, but the reason why I'm asking if there are programs where, let's say, they did adopt a kid, right, and they take the financial burden of raising a kid and teaching him good morals, it can never be at the risk of losing their culture. So that's why I was wondering, are there other opportunities out there? Because
Maybe.
I don't see there being anything wrong with, like, a white couple wanting to adopt a Native American kid because, dude, like, we still barely know anything about Native Americans. There might be some interest in learning there. There's nothing wrong with that as long as they're raising the kid right, treating the kid right, like, great. But in part of treating that child right is to make sure that they learn their heritage and culture and grow and can continue those traditions. I don't see there being anything wrong with that.
I mean, I feel weird about people specifically selecting a race when they're talking about adopting a kid. Like, I think you should just go to where the kids are, interact with kids, figure out which one you feel like would fit in best to your family. Like, why are we selecting on race?
I don't think that matters.
But that's not even what they were. I don't even think that's what they were doing. They were a foster home. This little boy came in, they took care of him, and they loved him, and they wanted to keep him. And I think that is fine. That's admirable. That's literally what they did. They opened their home to any foster kid. That one came in, they wanted to keep him. But then they found a home that was a tribal family, and they're like, he needs to go with his own. And they weren't okay with that. They felt discriminated against.
Yeah.
And I think because they are conservative Christians, that just didn't go over well with them.
Yeah.
Like, they can't... I feel like a lot of conservative Christians don't have a lot of cultural experience, don't have that understanding. I just don't know. But I wanted to talk about this, and this, I'll link this article. I think it's interesting. It goes deep into it, but I just wanted to read off this little part. It's from Harper's Bazaar. So it says, in the 1950s, during the next tribal era that is known as the termination era, the federal policy of explicitly terminating the political rights and identities of Indian tribes, the federal government again promoted taking native kids away from their families with the help of churches and adoption agencies. The federal government, in what is known as the Indian Adoption Project, encouraged the removal of Native children from their families and then their adoption by non-Native families. According to a 1976 report by the Association on American Indian Affairs, between 1941 and 1967, as many as 1 in 3 Native children were taken from their families. A 1976 report to Congress described these processes, which were not always ill-intended, as follows. Within these systems, 2 levels of abuse can and do occur. In the initial determination of parental neglect, the conceptual basis for removing a child from the custody of his or her parents is widely discretionary, and the evaluation process involves the imposition of cultural and familial values which are often opposed to values held by the Indian family. Second, assuming that there is a real need to remove the children from its natural parents, children are all too frequently placed in non-Indian homes, thereby depriving the child of his or her tribal or cultural heritage. So this is where, so there was this literally intentional effort to remove them, and then they were like, wait, we have to stop this. Like, there was their population was decreasing so much. Yeah. Like, it was insane.
Of course. You take kids away from any population, it's going to immediately halt.
We were literally colonizing them still in the 1950s. Like, we still had that mindset.
I know.
And up to the 1970s. Like, it was still happening. And it's crazy. So, I don't know. I just don't think it's beneficial for that couple to have tried to fight it. I think they should have just let go, and like, I don't know. They're one of the tiniest minorities. Like they have been screwed and screwed and screwed and screwed. And I think anybody who has taken a basic history class in America knows that. Yeah. Like, they're one of the most screwed over populations on the history of the planet.
Yeah, I believe in creating opportunities and even on edge cases like this, and I feel like this is an edge case. However, I think they messed up by just being like, oh, that's just not fair, okay? Yeah. I think they could have brought other plans to the table, like doing what I was saying, reaching out to somebody that is a shaman or part of their tribe, whatever they call their guidance teachers in their culture and tribe, and tried to come up with a secondary solution. You know what I mean? But,
okay. Okay, so they found another couple. Let's find out what happened to the little boy.
You know, that boy will be able to get financial benefits like right off the rip.
Yeah.
So I hope that didn't have something to do with it. That would be mega shady. Mm-hmm. Mega.
So there were people who testified to his attachment to the couple. A Texas judge ruled in favor of the tribe anyway, and they only had 2 days' notice, and they were told he was going to be leaving forever. They got an emergency stay of the judge's order and proceeded to file the federal lawsuit, and then Navajo Nation tribal officials later approved the adoption on January 8th, 2018, a day to be celebrated for the Brackens. So they did take him in.
Oh, they won?
They won. It took another turn June 2018 when the biological mother of the boy gave birth to his half-sister, identified in court documents as YRJ. Jennifer and Chad filed for custody, arguing that keeping the siblings together would be best for them, but Navajo Nation countered for custody to go to the girl's great aunt who lived on a reservation. So did they lose him again? I didn't know that. I don't know.
That's wild. I'm curious what you guys think out there on this.
Sorry, I didn't know that, but
I feel like I've given some good takes and options in this situation. I'm curious what you feel about it.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to get the girl too, is what it is.
Okay.
So I think they're trying to get the girl and have him and his sister be together, is what it is.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know about the girl until I saw that. I just was looking up who they were and why this happened. Mm-hmm. I personally am glad that the Supreme Court upheld the law. And they still got to keep the boy. Because at the end of the day, yes, culture is important, but his well-being is more important. And his attachment. Like, he had an attachment built with that couple. They were his parents.
Yeah.
At that time.
I don't know how I feel about that.
So, I don't know. I don't know.
If there was another couple that was an Indian couple and they have the ability to teach that child his culture and heritage, and that white couple isn't willing to go out of their way to teach him that,
they said they were.
Draws the line, then I don't think the white couple should have any say, period. I think that's where the problem is. That's why I was giving that take earlier.
Yeah.
Where, there's got to be other options out there. If that white couple really wanted to adopt an Indian child or that child specifically because they had some kind of bond, then create a plan where you're going to go out of your way, take them to see their, leader and guiders in that tribe once a week or weekends or something like that. You just cannot cut off that culture. Dude, we made a mistake in how we managed the Indians here, and
Native Americans, yeah.
Native Americans too. We need to go out of our way to make sure that culture continues to live on, in my opinion. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, and they want to. they want to live on, so they should. Like they work to keep their culture intact, and that is their right. And the effort, the documented effort to destroy it is disgusting, and I think this law needs to be in place to protect it.
Yeah.
So even though there's going to be situations like this where somebody doesn't get what they want, and I mean, as long as the child's going to a good home and their culture is being preserved, then at the end of the day, I'm happy. Yeah. They said they are willing to teach him those things and honor it and all of that, which is good. I still don't understand why, when they got to keep the child, they wanted to file the lawsuit, though.
Yeah.
Like, what are you fighting for here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know it's important.
You wanted,
it's important to uphold the culture. You're claiming you're going to teach it to him. And you want his sister to be with him now.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. Like,
I'm gonna look into if they get any financial benefits for the child because he's Indian, that go to them until he's 18. I want to look that up and find out, and then
I didn't even think about that. So, that was a good point. Yeah, we should cover it in an update.
But let us know how you guys feel about it, because this is a really uncommon topic that we don't encounter very often. So I would love to know how you guys feel about it.
Yeah, they fought against 5 tribes. Anyway, let us know what you think. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Are you happy with the outcome? Are you happy that they got to keep the boy? We don't know what's going to happen with the placement of the sister yet. I guess that's undetermined.
Yeah.
So, I just think that Native Americans deserve to be able to protect their traditions, their land. We need to uphold our agreements that we made with them, okay? Because that is part of this. The reservation, the law, like, this is all to uphold the agreement to, keep them working on their own account, like, in their reservations, having their own little governments, and be able to live like as their own people. So I think that's really important. Because they've already gotten screwed over like way too much. It's gross.